All right, welcome to the Acting Up with GTC podcast. My name is Micky Shearon. I am your host for this mini pod that we're doing. We are sans Matt Boitner today because he is getting ready to teach a class or be present for
We don't need him.
rehearsal. We don't
We don't
need
need
that.
him.
Do
We
we
don't
need
need
Matt?
him.
We don't need
No.
Matt. All right, Matt's out of here for this episode. And but I am joined by these two lovely young ladies. We have Liz and Berklee Heil. So you guys, thanks for being with us today on this little mini pod. We call it a mini pod
Yeah.
because we say it's kind of like K-cups for podcasts.
Right.
So little
Okay.
little individual servings. It's not going to be a full
single serving.
episode.
It's a
Single
single
serving.
serving.
Yes. So here we are, and I wanted to get together with you guys because we have, at the time of this recording, we have 2 weekends left of Bonnie and Clyde.
So
Right?
exciting.
I'm going to try to get this all edited and ready to drop tomorrow,
Oh, awesome.
which will be Friday. So we'll still have 2 weekends because we want everybody that hasn't had a chance to see this show yet to get down here and see
Immediately.
the show
Immediately.
this weekend or next.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, let's talk for just a minute. Let's start with Liz.
Okay.
So Liz, talk a little bit about what it's been like to do a role like Bonnie Parker.
It's been the most fun. So I fell in love with Bonnie through the movie a long, long time ago. Me and my grandma, we love watching like Dateline and like those criminal like shows and stuff like that. And so it kind of was instilled in me early on about true crime and this whole Bonnie and Clyde thing. And then I watched the musical, listened to the music, and I was like, I have to play this role because I feel like we're very much alike, you know, like I said, like we're very headstrong. We're still young and still figuring that out. And so to kind of take on a role that I feel like is very reminiscent of myself has been just really interesting. And then funny, she's hilarious in some parts. In some parts, she's just this very strong woman. And so to kind of take that on and be that person on stage and trying to figure that out, it's just been such an honor, truly.
Well, as musical theater roles go,
Right.
also it's not an easy role to play. I mean,
It's
it's very vocally demanding, but you
Yes.
also have to be a really strong actress.
Mhm.
Okay, and let's face it, we all do musical theater, and there are some roles that in a musical you just have to have the pipes, right? You have to have the voice. Acting is really not all that necessary, right? But
Yeah.
in this role, you actually have some acting that you have to do
Yes.
along with the
For
demanding
sure.
vocals.
For sure. I think, like I said on the other podcast, playing a historical figure for any actor is kind of a daunting task to take on because you have all of these like resources on what these people think these people were like. And there's still people alive that knew Bonnie and knew Clyde and like have personal stories about them. And so like to kind of read about that and all of that mixed together as well as trying to master those vocals, it all just played a part in making the show what it is and making Bonnie the person that she is.
Right. Well, and you also have the little bit of a distinction in playing this role opposite of your real life little sister, Berklee. So for those of you who have not seen the show and don't really know the premise of how the musical is written, we start off one of the first people you see in the show is young Bonnie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's the
and
third person that you
right,
visually see.
right. And so you see Berklee on stage as young Bonnie, the
Yeah.
younger version of Liz,
Mhm.
and she's singing this great song about Clara Bow and everything. So before we switch it over to Berklee and let her
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what it's been like, being in a show, not only with your sister, but playing the same role. I mean,
Yeah.
the same person, just younger and older versions.
Yeah, well, I think I was on board with Bonnie and Clyde before Berklee was, and I told her, and I was like, "Hey, there's this younger version of Bonnie that I think you could sing, and it would be really awesome for us to kind of play the same person, just different stages in her life."
Yeah.
And so I finally talked her into it, and she started listening to the music and fell in love with it. And so it's just been fun because like during auditions, it was like, okay, this is my song. What are you auditioning with? Okay, when's your audition slot? Oh, we're gonna audition 10 minutes apart from each other, And so it's just fun to have your sister there that you've known your entire life, and kind of take on this crazy role in this crazy show.
Well, it does make it a little easier too to talk about, and kind of share notes. Okay, like,
Yeah.
okay, how are you going to do?
Right,
How are you going to do
physicality
this?
stuff,
Exactly.
notes sort of stuff. We played with that a little bit.
Okay, so Berklee, okay, you have done a phenomenal job in this show and as you have, Liz. I didn't say that, okay. I got to realize I'm talking to sisters here, and they're gonna and Berklee's gonna walk out. He says I'm doing an amazing job. He didn't say that to you, so. But so you heard your sister talk a little bit about what it's been like for her to be in a show with her younger sister, playing an older version of the person you're playing. So, what's it been like for you?
It's been fun because we have each other, so like we can always like talk to each other about things, like she said, and like also like when you're like backstage, like we can help each other out. Like if I forget something, like Liz will have it, and so like it's good to have like somebody that you can just go to.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
And again, you have a couple of you have a song at the beginning, song at the end. Do you have any? You don't have anything right in the middle. So so you kind of bookend the show. You open it and you close it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool thing of being like one of the first things that people see on stage in a show, and you're also one of the last things. So is that any added pressure that that you feel like, okay, I have to start this off right, and now I got to finish strong?
A little bit.
A little.
It's like because if you start off the show not good, then like it's kind of like the rest of the show, like for me at least. And then if you end it off not good, it's like it's a little bit of pressure because you remember how you start a show. That's what my parents were talking about. They like remember how you started. So it's like a little bit of pressure. But I like it.
But it's also the one of the last things that the audience sees. That's kind of the impression. So if you train wreck right at the end, you can have a great show the entire time, but at the very end, it's like people are going to go away going, that was
so bad.
Yeah, it was. You got to land it. That's right. Did you know anything about Bonnie and Clyde before this show?
I knew a little bit. I heard about Bonnie and Clyde, like how they had came through, like obviously they were in Texas and stuff, and how it's rumored that they were like in Granbury or something. And I thought that was really cool whenever Bonnie and Clyde was like announced, because I was like, oh, there's a connection there. But anything like personality, I had no idea about any of their personalities until like I like watched it.
So have you learned anything about who Bonnie and Clyde? I mean, obviously you've researched the characters, the roles a little bit.
Yeah, I watching the show like whenever I'm not like during Tech Week, I go on at the beginning and end. So I was like watching, and you kind of see a different perspective of what like people think. You think that they were just like murderers, but you get to kind of see like why they became who they are and like who they really are.
Right.
And so it kind of changed my perspective on what I thought.
Right.
And stuff.
And I think that's a somewhat of a theme of this show, kind of a bottom line thing, is that, we all know who they were. We all know that they were not, ultimately they were not nice people.
Right.
And they did some horrible, horrible things. And what I like about this show is the show doesn't try to whitewash that. It doesn't try to smooth that over. It shows all the ragged edges, right? But it also goes to show that Bonnie and Clyde became who they were, a lot of because of the time period they lived in, the things that they experienced in life, and not to use that as an excuse to grow up to be a social misfit, but there is, it does bear out that, hey, there are reasons why people are the way they are. Right.
Bonnie and Clyde at the Granbury Opera House, I think, has the potential to be one of the best shows of the season. The music is impeccable and amazing, and you probably haven't heard any musical like it. I think both all the cast, but I think Gavin and I really have like that connection that you really want to see in a show. And just our voices and the way that we act together is really awesome. And then everyone as a cast is impeccable and amazing. Actors, singers, dancers, all the things.
Bonnie and Clyde is such a good show. The music is so good. Like, I listen to it every day. Like, it's really good. Everybody in it is just so good. There's no weak links ever. It's so good. And you should come see it because it's going to be stuck in your head until the day you die.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, that's heavy.
Uh-huh.
All right.
We
Well,
made some tough
okay,
claims,
Matt
big
Boyer
claims.
is at the door making faces at us because they have a rehearsal that we are
I think he's mad he
taking
wasn't
their
invited,
space. It
but
may have been. And
it's
you know
okay.
what? That's okay.
Uh-oh.
You'll get over it. But Berklee, Liz, thank you guys for being with us today on the
Thank
Acting
you
Up
for
with
having
GTC Mini
us.
Quad.
I'm glad we're able to
And
do this.
that is all we've got for today. And we will see you next time on the Acting Up with GTC podcast.
Absolutely.
Yay.
All right.